or not.
Yeah, I've heard that the civilians, that's why I was kind of saying, you're better off being captured by an army soldier or the town constable, because if the citizens found you, they would tend to beat you to death, pickpocket you, and kill you.
Tom said that young man who was a soldier seemed more nervous than you did. He was so young.
Well, I think so, yeah. Well, this had been his first thing that he ever did. That
First time
was
he'd ever seen
particularly worthwhile. As that told him it was worthwhile for him to be a German soldier.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, he just kind of did what he was told, and he never understood why he was ever told to do that, but he just did it, you know. Well, anyhow.
He was just a little local boy.
Anyhow, this.
Okay. All right, so this
I was
commander in charge says you're going to be a POW.
No, he didn't tell me that.
Oh,
The English
civilian
guy
guy.
did.
Mhm.
The guy in charge just sent me back.
Okay.
And when I thought about it, like a year later, I thought, well, you know, that was the kindest thing that guy ever did.
Mhm.
I should have asked and found out what his name was in case he got consigned to some kind of a court, you know.
Mhm.
We had courts for German soldiers that were doing bad things,
That's
like
right.
concentration camps and that kind of a thing. And then if he ever might have got into a problem like that, I would vouch for him and say, well, he did me a good service.
He did.
Well,
He really did.
he didn't have to.
Didn't have
That's
to.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, he sent me out to I'd call it a country roadhouse. It was a restaurant and tavern, and I think they had a few rooms in there that people could sleep. So it was kind of a tourist attraction, you know, to people moving from one town to another. They put me in a room, in one of the rooms, and there was a guy already in there, about like me, and we stayed there for a couple of days.
You wasn't one of your crew members?
No,
You know what crew he was from? Was he from from the 388th at all?
no,
No.
I don't know. He was a radio operator on a B-17, and he got shot down like I did,
Okay.
and they moved him into this place. So, but he was there before I did,
Okay.
and they kept bringing more and more people in there. I don't remember all of them. There was I'll describe some of them because it's kind of important in the group.
Okay.
There was a Australian and a New Zealand air person, like the New Zealand Air Force, Royal Air Force,
Okay.
and the Australian Royal Air Force, who were pilots, I think. There was an American pilot by the name of Slick that flew a P-47, and he never did say whether that was his nickname or his real name. It was just Slick.
So, okay.
It wasn't Sir either, it was just Slick.
Okay.
Uh,
He's trying to be low key as an officer.
well, he was, we were all in the same boat, he was
Right.
telling us,
Yeah.
yeah. There was a couple of them in there from, I have no idea, but there was some kind of British,
Something.
someplace,
You think that generally they were all aviators though?
no,
Well, some of them were actually, a couple of them were combat guys, infantry.
these two guys that were British something else.
Okay, whatever they were.
They were not
aviators.
there, they were, I don't know
Okay.
how they got there, and I never found out who they were
Okay.
or why they were there. But they were captured someplace, and they were part of the British Air Force or British Army because they had British uniforms on.
Right.
But
No
it
wings
might
or
have been in Africa someplace, I don't know.
Okay. They're just moving them through. All right.
But there weren't like white. There were some other nationalities.
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying.
So,
There might have been Indian
British
from
colonies.
India, yeah, British colony someplace.
okay.
There was one guy there that learned to speak German. He had been captured down in North Africa, so he had been a prisoner for a long time, and he said he escaped from the prison camp like every year, at least once a year. He said, I just call it my taking my vacations, something like that.
Yeah.
And he would get out and run around for several days, and pretty soon somebody would catch him and bring him back to that place. And
Okay.
this time he said that he had got as far as to where he was sitting on the bank of the Rhine River. He was trying to figure out how to get across, because there's friendly forces on the other side of the river, but not on his side.
Okay.
And he knew if he started to try to get across, with the friendly forces there would shoot him while he was still in the water.
Right.
You know, how do you wave a friendly flag, which you don't have, to your friends on the other side of the river, and the people behind you would want to shoot you if they saw you waving that flag?
Right.
So,
Who's that?
anyhow, he said he was caught by, he got joined by a friendly British group, like infantry that were trying to find their way on his side of the river.
Okay.
And find a way to get everybody to come across, you know.
Okay.
And the whole group, like a squadron, I guess, or squad, you know, the whole group was caught and made prisoners, and he was too. And because he was an ex-POW, he was separated from them, and he ended up with us. So
Okay.
anyhow,
All right.
he was an important guy. We stayed there for a couple of days, and we were sent to the prison camp. There was a German, I think he was a corporal and a private, that were going to take us up there as guards. We were kind of out in the country from this big city, so we walked into the city.
Do you remember the name of that town?
No, but I always thought it might be Hagen.
Hagen?
Hagan. But when we got in the city, well, there was they had a streetcar that come out as far as we were, and so we got on the streetcar, which took us downtown to the train station, and.
Okay.
Are you having a problem?
No, we're doing fine.
So we went down to the train station, and when we got on the streetcar, one of the gang wanted to sing something like, we're winning the war or something, you know, some American or English war victory song,
Okay.
you know.
Picking a fight.
Well, we decided it'd be best, looking at the crowd around there, it'd be best to just keep our mouths shut, so that's what we did. We were taken to the train station, and the train was supposed to come at night, and because that's when the trains ran. They didn't run in the daytime,
Yes, sir.
because they get strafed. And so we were in there waiting for the train, and it didn't show up until dawn, because I suppose the tracks were missing or something, you know.
Yes, sir.
So we waited in the train station for along with all the rest of the people, Germans. It was the first time that this happened to us, which might be one of the most interesting parts of my whole military career. That and my time with the initial guy that said Heil Hitler and wanted to shoot us. So there must have been a dozen of us, or a couple of dozen of us in this group that were going to the prison camp. And we were in this crowded train station all night long, and the train didn't show up until dawn. Somewhere along the line, this German soldier showed up and saw us, and it wasn't hard to recognize. It was a bunch of POWs, you know, or German enemies of Germany, and they were going to a prison camp. And he whipped out his submachine gun and he was going to shoot us all because we were kind of hiding by the wall there to be quiet and not too noticeable,
Okay.
you know.
Yes, sir.
So he was going to shoot all of us sitting there, standing there by the wall. And this one German guard went up and stood in front of us. And he told the one with the machine gun, submachine gun, that if he was going to shoot us, he'd have to shoot one of his own people. So he didn't shoot us.
The other guard ran, didn't he?
The other one was wrong, yeah. When anything like that happened, the corporal was pretty hard to find. It was a private that stood up for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And he was,
Well, the corporal knew what was about to happen. Didn't want any part of that. So.
well, he didn't want to be on the wrong end of the
Yeah.
gun, yeah.
and the English speaker told you why that guy came in.
And
Remember the English speaking British guy?
yeah, well, we knew what was going on because this one guy that kept escaping from prison camps understood all the language,
Okay. He could
and he
tell what they
understood
were-
what was going on. And he told us what was going on. He said the German soldier with the submachine gun said that he got some time off from his frontline duty to come home, and because he lived there, that was his home.
Okay.
And when he got home, he found out that his mother and his sister had been killed by a bombing raid. I don't know whether he said American or not, but because the British were bombing too.
Right.
But it was a bombing raid that killed him, and he didn't know that until he got home. And that was just a day or so before, so, you know, he was a little bit out of sorts.
Okay.
So I guess I wouldn't blame him if he would have shot us all. Anyhow, we didn't get shot. The train showed up at dawn, and we got on one of the cars. It was a freight train. And other people were on other cars because there was a bunch of people in the train station wanting to go wherever it was going. And so we went out and on the train, and we were going out in the country, and the train got strafed. If I remember, what happened actually was that when the airplanes were spotted, these were probably Spitfires from the Royal Air Force. I think maybe the train stopped and everybody got off of the train. And the Spitfires come down and shot up the engine. They didn't shoot up the rest of the train.
Yeah, why waste bullets? Because you stop that locomotive, it's
Well, it wasn't going to go anyplace, yeah. And I don't know whether that train had any aircraft guns on it or not, but some of those trains did. I don't know whether it was carrying anything except people. But anyhow, as a group, we kind of, through the one that spoke German, we told our guards that we just as soon walk. We didn't want to be on anybody.